think all of this would make so much more sense with a visual. So do we want to show them a little tour video
Yeah.
of like from their perspective walking in the spa, take them
Yeah.
on that field trip?
Welcome back to Muse on the Mic. I'm Riley.
I'm Emily. Thanks again for joining us on another great episode of MUSE On the Mic. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share, comment below, do all the things. Follow us on social media at the bottom as well in the caption. And we haven't introduced ourselves in a while, so I figured I would this week. We are two owners of a spicy erotic massage parlor in Canada, and we've been owning our business for 15 years. And the podcast is talk about all the behind the scenes of the sex biz, the adult biz, owning a rub and tug, relationships, sexy things, all the good stuff. So, on that note, Riley, what sexy things are we getting into today?
Today, we're actually going to bring you guys on a field trip. We're diving into a topic that's near and dear to our hearts. We're talking about Muse, our baby. And Emily and I often get asked about Muse and what to expect on a first visit. So we're really going to dive in and walk you guys through what to expect when you walk through the doors of Muse. What kind of fun can you expect to have and how it all works? So we're going to take a ride with you guys today.
Yay! I love showing off our baby. She's so pretty. But I can only imagine how nerve-wracking it is for an absolute newbie, a
Yeah.
virgin, a first timer, whatever we want to call them, a brand new customer, a guest.
I agree.
I'd be terrified, right? Like you're walking into this huge unknown. It's not
Yeah.
something that's like widely, I don't want to say reported, but like it's not common knowledge of like what it looks like inside a rub and tug, or like what happens when you first walk in the door. How do you choose a girl? Like, is it shady? Are there creepy people? Like, there's so much stigma that I think this will be such an amazing like point of view. And I mean, point of view is super popular. So let's give them like the real world view. I think it's really kind of cool. And
Yeah.
I just love a field trip.
It is. And I think to new customers, there's so much unknown, like you're saying. And for them to get kind of a glimpse of what to expect might put their mind at ease a little bit, right? So
Very much.
what are you going to expect when you walk through the front doors of Muse? Well, first of all, she's gorgeous. I'll just say that. And I think there's like this notion in the back of people's minds that it's like shady or dirty or grimy, and it is not. She is beautiful. So you're going to walk in and come into our lobby. And I want to make mention too, because there's a lot of really privacy concerned gentlemen or discreet gentlemen that although we utilize our lobby a lot, you can always ask, whether that's upon arrival or in booking your appointment, you can always ask to be seated in one of the treatment rooms. It's a little more private. You're not going to see any traffic going through the hallway. But either way, you're going to come in and be seated, and the manager will greet you and take care of you.
Well, let's give a moment to nod our managers, right?
Yeah.
Because they are all adorable, beautiful, super friendly, and really just welcome people with open arms. Sometimes even big hugs. Like you never know. We like to get a little intimate with new visitors and just like kind of be like, come on in, join the family. And I mean, tons of our managers have been there for a really long time, so they're super familiar with everyone. It's home to them, and I think that real homey, at least a family feel comes across right when you walk in the door. The vibes are that good. And let's like also make a note that there are some really grimy, shady, gross massage parlors out there
Right.
all over the globe. But even for people that aren't local, this might even encourage them to maybe try a nicer place, let's hope, wherever they may reside. Because although the layout may be a little different in terms of the physical venue, process is very much the same, right? I remember the first time I went to a strip club, I was terrified, but it's very similar to going to a normal club. There's like the security guy at the door, you pay like cover charge, there's the coat check girl, like it's very normal. So to see it normalizes it, squashes that stigma. And like you said, even for the privacy conscious or privacy nervous ones, this might be really reassuring to be like, oh, wait, they have procedures. It's not abnormal to be this nervous. I mean, technically, all of us are somebody in real life, right? So we don't want our identities necessarily known. We use stage names. The girls use stage names. The boys expect the same privacy. So I think it's going to be a really cool kind of eye-opening experience for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think too, one concern that a lot of rookies may have is the dollar spent, right? That they're worried when they come in, are they going to be obligated, or is their money going to be taken right away and they're stuck with someone they don't want? And it's a very, like, it's a pro-choice environment. You walk in as a customer and we're going to walk you through meeting the muses. But at that point, I do want to make sure I hit that point that you are free to walk out. If no one tickles your fancy that day, which I bet you they will, there's no commitment on your end. Come in, have an espresso, have a bottle of water, meet the muses. And if you don't have time, or like you said, you're not interested on that particular day, you're free to go. There's no commitment there.
Sure, which is not the norm in like most kind of appointment-based businesses, because so many don't accept walk-ins and we do both. So the flexibility is great. And especially when you're new, I think a walk-in definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Unless someone really jumps out to you and catches your eye that you saw on our social media, perhaps. Check out our Twitter. It's definitely the most liberal of the platforms of the bunch. But if someone catches your eye, obviously book an appointment with them, because there's no guarantee they'll be available when you walk in. But if you're just there to like be like, I don't even know what these girls look like, being a walk-in is perfect, because you'll meet a plethora of ladies in one shot, right? We usually have about 6 girls per shift. So you can potentially, depending who's in and out of session at any given time, meet a number of the girls and, compare them to their photos, see that they look even better in person, which we love. And then that should give you also like reassurance for the times that you'll come in and meet other people, that they will also be just as beautiful, just as friendly. And we host a really wide variety of ladies, which I think is, some of which is everywhere, but I think we are really like even more so. So whether you like a specific type, or whether you want to go outside of your type, or against what your past relationships have looked like, or just mix it up on a random Tuesday, there are more than 31 different flavors you could try. So I think that's really cool too, because some people don't know their type yet, even like in even the dating world. So come in and try a few flavors and figure out your favorite.
And I think type is important to recognize, but that's what's interesting about the greeting is, as you get to meet, let's call it, 5 or 6 muses, you might end up picking actually completely against what your type generally is, just based off that personality or the vibe. So you're kind of being able to introduce yourself to them, not just to physically see them, but also get a feel for their personality a bit. And I think you can really tell, oftentimes even in 10 seconds, like, wow, I need to see her alone, or not my cup of tea.
Right. And that's also where our managers come in with their neutrality, because they will be the one, after you meet the ladies, that come and ask specifically, who did you want to see? You know what? I think all of this would make so much more sense with a visual. So do we want to show them a little tour video of like, from their perspective, walking in the spa, take them on that field trip? And then we could break down all those little pieces and chunks, because there's a lot of nuance, or like really good points to highlight about this little, 7-minute process, 5-minute process of when you walk in. So let's go.
Take a short stroll down the Muse Mile today. You're going to go ahead and put your cell phone in the basket there, and then hop in the shower. Make yourself comfortable, and then your Muse will be in shortly. Have fun!
Hi, we're back. That's a fun little trip. I hope that gives those that have never been to Muse a visual of this mysterious pleasure place we've been talking about for 2 seasons now. Like, welcome everybody. But hopefully that gives like a full view of what it's like when you first come to the spa. And obviously, once you're a repeat customer, it'll feel like home in no time. You can just waltz right in, and everyone will remember who you are. Lots of hugs to go around, but that real nerve-wracking beginning is the stress part, like taking that very first step, as with anything new, right? But I think, as we were saying right before we took a break to go on that little field trip, I was saying that after you meet the ladies, the manager is the neutral party that comes in that asks who you chose, like who would you like to see? What's your selection? And I think that's really good because it can be really awkward. First of all, you're a new customer, you're super nervous, you don't know how this works, blah, blah, blah. And like 5 girls that are really hot just kind of came at you going, hi, hi, hey, hi, hi. Yeah. My penis is engaged already. My brain would be so confused. I'd be like, what, who, where? But it's also hard to say to someone's face, right? You don't want to have to reject someone to them personally and be like, your friend, please. Like, that's awkward. So the manager will be that neutral party. She'll come in and ask specifically who you want to see. And then we get to the point of session selection. What did you want to do?
What do you want to do with your sexy time today? And really, what do you want to spend? And I like that the manager is in that position again, because it's not sexy discussing business, but let's face it, there is some business to discuss. And I'd like to think most people have probably been on our website before they first walk through the doors, so they have an idea of our pricing. But ask the manager questions. Your price is dependent on time and service. But we have so many options at Muse and so many different session types that are extremely reasonable and some real kind of top tier options. So it depends on what you're looking for. But if it is just getting to know one muse, you have to decide on the length of time. And at that point, management will collect your fee and escort you to your room. Now, when you're brought to your treatment room, it's a gorgeous room, which you guys already saw. And you are going to be instructed to take a shower. And we've talked about this before. Cleanliness is so important, guys. And I know you're probably clean as you walk in, most of you. But either way, it is by law that you take a shower. So get in there and soap up, because the cleaner you are, the happier your muse will be to explore all the parts of your body.
Key point, underline and exclamation mark, because back in my day, it wasn't like that. There wasn't such rules. It definitely wasn't fancy. And my first spa had no showers.
Right.
Let's marinate on that for a second. We had like water jugs of water. We used to call it a bucket, and you clean out of a bucket. Like, it was kind of gross. And a lot of people would forgo hygiene factors, and it definitely limited the fun factor of the sessions because, listen, women shave before they go to the gynecologist. Like, I have a 2-hour shower before I go to get my cooch waxed. Like, men are different. And it was a different time in a different city in a different era, but it was just this. And I think if you want to get that top tier mileage and fun and all of like wild potential, squeaky clean is the objective, from literally head to toe, breath and all. Like, you really want it all to be great. So we provide all of the amenities you need, and guys can actually take a nice luxurious shower in those huge showers we just showed you. There's mouthwash, there's brand name products that you can smell the same as when you left as you came in, and go back again privately through the rest of your life. And it's those little details that make the Muse difference, right?
Oh, hey, welcome back to Just the Tip with Riley. So we've been discussing all things Muse lately, on the pod and in the tips. So let's keep that ball rolling and dive into our premium sessions today. Emily and I have created so many feature sessions over the years. Some missed the mark and some were quick fan favorites. So let's discuss the ones that have earned a permanent spot on our menu. Choosing one of our premium sessions can fulfill a fantasy on your bucket list, allow you to get up close and personal with more than one muse at once, or even challenge some of the vets in our industry. So starting off strong, let me introduce the Muse Mixer. This legendary session is a 1-hour action-packed fantasy roller coaster. The breakdown is 1 hour, 3 muses, 20-minute intervals, and 2 seamless duo overlaps. To me, the Mixer is the ultimate fantasy challenge. As the customer, you get to create your own adventure. You can attempt to climax 2 times, 3 times, or edge all the way through for one toe-curling finish. Next up is the Power Play by Muse. This session has 2 muses, but it's not like your standard duo. It's designed to build you up to the ultimate climax. The Power Play is a 45-minute session starting with your first muse of choice for 30 minutes. As the action starts and the temperature rises, your muse will keep you right where she needs you until the final 15 minutes when your second muse comes in. Now it's 2-on-1 for the final 15 minutes and the grand finale. Next is the H2O by Muse. It's a Montreal-inspired soapy massage with 3 muses. Your first muse will start with you in the shower, cleansing you, relaxing you, and teasing you. Your second muse will then come into a 30-minute action-packed session with you, with lots of mutual pleasure, build-up, and body slides. And just when you think it can't get any better, your third muse of choice will come in and take over for the last 15 minutes. You will enjoy a 15-minute, relaxing, tension-releasing shower all the way to the finish line. Those sessions sound so steamy, and we still have more to cover. Join me back here next week while we discuss the edge, the backstage pass, and our newest feature session, the centerfold. I'll see you next week, guys, on Just the Tip.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because I think a lot of new guys, they aren't sure. So I hope everyone sees this video. They aren't sure what to do after the shower. Like, do I just stand here in my towel? Do I sit on the S chair? What do I do with myself? So I think what's a great starting point is laying down on your table, face down. You can put a towel around you to keep you warm if you want, and just wait for your muse to come in. She knows what she's doing. She will conduct the session and guide you. But I never want to eliminate the option for you to communicate your wants and desires to her. There's definitely the customers that like to just lay back and take the Julia experience. But if you're actually coming in with a specific fantasy or something you want to fulfill, you need to communicate that to her. And don't feel shy in that environment. This is their job. They want to please you, and they want to make sure all of your fantasies do come true. So the more you can communicate them to them, the better.
Right. And that can happen even when you're booking an appointment or to the manager before your session starts. Be like, oh, by the way, let her know that I'm really into this, this, and this. But think about it. I think for men to think about it, imagine going to the barbershop, sitting down, and when they say, so what are we doing today? You're like, I don't know. Or you just stay silent. You're not going to get the haircut in the lineup that you want, right? So you have to verbalize it. Even if you're a little nervous, you have to like literally use your words and say it, because that immediately, you don't have to talk the rest of the time. If you're a quiet guy, that's cool. And we even have some girls that are relatively quiet. I clearly am chatty, but I was chatty in session too. And sometimes I had clients who'd be like, that's a little enough of the talking there, Em. And I was like, ooh, shit. But we can read body language really well, right? And that goes from the positioning of, are they laying down? Are they standing up? Are they kind of back in the room a little nervous? Are they right at the door, eager and ready to go? Like, there's so many little cues, but using your actual words to say, especially if you have specific requests or needs, you have to. She's not psychic. I wish we were. That would be a lot easier. But in order to deliver that like flawless service, we really need to just know, like, what's your jam? Why are you here? What do you want?
And I mean, if there's nothing specific you're there for, that's okay too. You can literally just lay back and enjoy the ride, like we said. And if you're doing that, what can you expect? Well, you're going to start with like a technical massage, like a little bit of get to know you. Like Emily said, it can be super quiet or it can be chatty, and you guys can, shoot the shit for 10 minutes. But at some points, because the session will kind of turn up in temperature, and it's going to be a lot more teasing happening, really kind of getting you interested and getting you going. And you're going to flip over at some point, and the fun will take place on the front. All the good stuff. And you are able to touch your muse. I would always say, that's included in all of our sessions. But if you're ever unsure, can I do this, or will she like this? Just ask her. I think most of the girls would appreciate, you asking the question opposed to just moving ahead in your actions. So if you're concerned, ask. If not, feel free to play. Like, she's going to want to interact with you.
Listen, so dive deeper into that one. If anyone's curious on how to be a great client or how not to be a great client, We did an episode a few weeks ago about that. So go back through and find that about being a great client, because there's some good tips about consent and about don't stick a finger in a butt without asking. I'll say that, because we read some feedback from the girls on what they appreciate, and communication was the number one repeated comment from all of them. And some of them are open to a finger in their butt, let's be real, but it's not the kind of thing you want to just be like, what?
Surprise. Yeah.
That's a very different experience of being like, okay, yeah, I love that. And then you do it. So literally use your words. It really matters. And it makes her enjoyment so much better. And I think one of the surprising things about massage parlors, especially ones that go beyond just a rub and a tug, is the fact that you can pleasure the girl, but how many customers love that part almost more than the rest of it, that they get to be givers, they get to be pleasers. And there's not too many other environments where that's a thing. I mean, there is an element to that with escorts, obviously, but there's also a more of a give than there is a take on an escort's, duties in an appointment, right? Like when they get to all the fucking and all the things, that just changes that kind of power balance or exchange in some respects, beyond the fact if he's a good lay. Even in a strip club, right? Like, how much are you trying to get her off? Like, even if she allows a bunch of touching in the VIP room, like, it's just not really the environment for that. So it is special and unique. And I think it's like, as much as, you can see in a movie or, the TV breaking news about something that happened in a massage place or whatever, nobody on like media talks about the fact that you actually get to touch the girls. You actually get to do all kinds of wild, fun stuff and practice your moves and learn some new ones and find new pleasure spots and all these fun things that we talk about in every episode. And new guys are often like, wait, you can do that? And I'm like, fuck yeah, tell your friends, tell everybody, because it's really unexpected. They hear rub and tug and they think massage with a hand job at the end. And you can do that if that's your request, then use those words and say that to her. But most people want a lot more fun, a lot more mileage, a lot more foreplay than that. And pleasuring her, making sure she gets off as well, giving her a happy ending is just as vital, if not more so.
And I think that's also like a misconception sometimes too, is that they think they're just going to come in and get rubbed and tugged, and that it's not going to have that connection or that erotic nature. Like, there is a lot more to it. And the muses are so well trained and invested in that experience with you, that there's so much more to it for you to experience. And we should touch on the body slides as well, because as much as we talked about mutual touching and pleasure, if you are just kind of laying back to take her experience, you can expect to have a body slide. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it really is just body to body contact without it being genital to genital. It's generally done in like pretty standard ways, but it can be super creative as well. But it feels good. It's a warm, oily woman sliding her body all over you, and you get to, all the views of the mirrors that are specifically placed in the rooms to get all the kind of sight lines and sensations and feelings. It's pretty hot.
Well, our patrons know, because we did a visual about body slides. Well, somewhat of a visual, as much as we could find on the people's internet. But we really walk through what one is, because unless you're in this industry, that's not a common word or like phrase of expression used. It's not part of like first base, second base, third base. It's kind of halfway between third base and home plate, really. You're trying to steal home, which doesn't happen very much in baseball. So what the cool part is it happens every day, all day in places like Muse, not just here, but all over the world. Body to body massage is a real service, a real skill set. That's for sure. And like you said, there's so many positions and ways to do it. It's in very ways simulation. And if you're good at it, it should feel like sex. It should be like double take, like, wait, where did she just put it? Or like, what is that? Why is it so warm and wet? Like, there should be lots of questions going through your head as your brain is not functioning as well. But like, that's what we want. That's effectively delivering a great body slide. It should feel like that. And so seeing a really skilled body slider use 18 different positions over, let's say, the course of a few sessions to really see her skills, and they all feel like she's doing different naughty things, is top tier service. Like that is skill set and then some.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff we love to train our muses on. So we hope our gents and our visitors and our regulars and all that really get to experience that like breadth of dynamics and making good use of those skills. And
Yeah.
the furniture in the room because they're all placed for a reason too, right?
Well, and that's what I wanted to touch on as well. I mean, not to take away from the body slides, because let's face it, the muses are masters in the body slide. But there's so many, and you can finish during a slide. I want to mention that for the rookies out there.
Oh yeah.
But there's so many other parts of the experience that there's so much to touch on that we couldn't in one episode. But from the multi-girl session options, if that's what you fancy, the milking tables, the S chair, sessions that can take place in the shower, the options really are limitless. And I don't want that to overwhelm you, but it is such a playground for you to explore once you kind of get your feet wet and get comfortable.
Absolutely. Like that first session will be like the taste test.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll experience, let's say a 30-minute session with a particular girl, her way of delivering to a brand new customer. But once you get to know a few of the girls, or you've tried a few of our different kinds of sessions, or spent more time with one that you really like, there is variety in her service as well. It's not going to be the same cookie cutter experience. Every customer experiences a different kind of session. And regulars, if as an attendant, we're keeping them coming back as regulars, it means changing things up sometimes and showing off different moves and using different body slide techniques, or introducing some little fantasies or fetishes or naughty ideas or dirty talking, and like all these different pieces that can come together and make a really unique experience, but ever changing, which, I mean, that's the best part of dating too, right? It's like the beginning, and when it's like, I don't know what's going to happen and what's she going to say next and all that kind of shit, right? So I love that like cheeky part of it as well, because you never know what you might get. You might be her favorite that day. You may be the best thing that ever walked in and she breaks every fucking rule and we never hear about it.
Let's not hear about it. It's so fun. I hope it gave you guys a little comfort, kind of having that tour and having us kind of verbally walk you through. But utilize Emily and I. We want to hear from you. We want to have you into the spa. So whether that's reaching out, commenting under this video, reaching out on social media, or emailing in. Emily's the one that's going to answer you through emails. And she's so good with like setting up a muse that's going to best suit you, or organizing experience, or even maybe it's easier to relay to her what you'd like to have happen in a session opposed to speaking to the manager on site. Whatever it is we need to do to make you comfortable, just talk to us.
Absolutely. And there's definitely options. I love to match make, which means making recommendations. I don't know my actual stats on accuracy, but I rarely get a mismatch. I'll say that. I don't know if any other like dating coaches could have those kind of stats. Like, I know my girls, I know my shit, I know this industry. And I like to think I know men at least as much as I can as a female, but I really care about those little details. And I like to be familiar with the ladies into that level. Of really knowing the ins and outs of what kinds of services they deliver, what tone their delivery has, with their sessions kind of have like a moody vibe. Are they really cuddly? Are they really kinky? Are they loud? I mean, I was loud. Are they more demure? Right? Are they demure? Are they girly? Are they, like there's gentle and soft and snuggly and all different kinds. So the more a gent can tell me in our back and forth of communication, the better I can recommend. And usually I like to include a few options so they have some choice. But I think it also opens up possibility. So if they want to try something like a mixer that includes multiple girls, or a duo with two at once, they can either ask that girl for her favorite, like who's your favorite friend to play with, or ask me, or maybe based on our conversation, there's two chicks that like I couldn't decide between the two. So let's just do them both together. They're on schedule together Thursday. Let's do it. And I think that's super fun. But there's also, at the end of the session as well, there's some hygiene and cleanliness that happens, housekeeping at the end too. Every session ends with a shower, usually together, because who doesn't like to get soapy with your your muse, right? But the cleanup is important, right? Not only for him, the gent, for you, the watcher, the listener, to then go back to work and or back, home or wherever you're going after you're done with us. But for her too, to clean up and be ready for her next session or start off her shift, end her shift, whatever time of day it is. Tidying up the room, you won't see all the ins and outs of the scrub down, but you'll see that we, change linens and fresh towels and all that stuff will kind of happen in like your hindsight while that session is wrapping up at the end after the orgasmic finish. But I remember being in attendance and clients being like, it's good you do that. And I was always like, where do you go where they don't do that? Because that's concerning, sir.
Mhm.
But it's important that they see me wipe down the bed with disinfectant. It's important they see me put out fresh linens and the pile of laundry I'm going to take out after he leaves. Like those little cleanliness factors are reassuring to a customer for sure. So we make a point of making sure all of that stuff is easily available for the client to witness, which I think is great. Not the sexiest part, but important part.
Oh, for sure. And that's kind of it, guys. So hopefully you enjoyed this experience and enjoyed going on this field trip with us. We were certainly happy to have you. And we hope to see all the new faces come into Muse, and definitely contact us if you have any questions that we can help you with.
Absolutely. Don't be shy. Put on our matchmaker hats and get ready to go, right?
I love it.
I love it. Thanks for coming, guys. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye.